Hey, good afternoon. So, um, in the last class, we're discussing the history of cinema. The history of cinema. I want to believe you still remember some of the things we discussed, even though some people did not attend that class. But if you visit your portal, you will see the recorded the recorded class link. So what you just need to do is to click on it and watch the lecture again, or probably listen to it if it's going to be the audio that you'll find it. So now today we are going to be looking at it's still under Unit 1, the history of cinema. We talked about Muybridge experiment in the last class, talking about that man that was a British photographer who came to the United States of America, California precisely, and was given an appointment by the then Governor Leland of California, to carry out a situation whereby the leg of us could move intermittently. It could walk in motions. You don't forget that when we talk about the history of film, how film started, we were told that photography at first is still, and now you can have it happening intermittently. Like you could walk on motion, like the spoke of a bicycle now. You see, if you have 3 spokes of bicycle, and then if you roll it, it will be moving as if they are more than that. So the same thing is what Leland, the former governor, the then governor of California, wanted Muybridge to achieve. And then in that class, we were told, or we learned that he failed in his first experiment. So he traveled around, and then by the time he would come back, it was a comeback for success and victory. So he was able to achieve that task that was given to him by the governor. So, and then he did a lot of other things. And after that, we had some people that came up to do what we call kinematography. I don't know if you can remember that terminology.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I'm trying to history. Hold that for me. All right, so let's move. So we have he came up with something, cinematograph. Yes. CINEMATMAGRAPHE. Okay. And then some other brothers too came to invent some other things. Don't forget that inventors usually look at what other people have done and then they build on those things. And that is what is in existence today. Don't forget also that I told us in the previous class that what they were using in those days, in the early days of cinema, as equipment, photography equipment, video coverage equipment, and some other things, they have been changed. They have been transformed into the digital waves. Okay, so you can't compare. That time we used film, and then as I take a picture, the film reflects, and then the reflection of the film, that what is it called? That thing that looks like ribbon, that ribbon stuff. Sometimes it's white, some brown. So some of them you have to take them to laboratory where they will produce hard copies of pictures. Okay, yeah. So now let's go straight to today's class. We are looking at the pioneers of cinema, and then the first person to be looked at is Thomas Edison. How many of you know Thomas Edison? What do you know Thomas Edison for? Who is Thomas Edison? Thomas Edison was born 1847. And then he died 1931. And between or in between the years, or let's say between 1847 and 1931, he achieved so greatly, contributing to the cinema, to the world of cinema in general. Is known as giving the world the first motion picture camera known as the kinetograph. And then it was modified to work with the peephole projector, which is known as the kinetoscope. And that was made public in 1891. And then he also built the first studio in New Jersey, United States of America. And all these things started from the United States of America. Don't forget, in the later part of this course, you will see the place where we have the cinema headquarters, the Hollywood headquarters rather, in United States of America. Now all those things are being done, even though we may not be able to get all of them. Okay, so Thomas Edison made the peephole projector, which is called kinetoscope, possible in order to fashion the kinetograph, to modify it and make it more meaningful, and then to make it more functional while working. So this was made public in 1891, declared, when they invent things like that, they have to test it and then project it to the public that it can now be used. Don't forget, we just have the release of iPhone 15, and then I'm very sure it must have been tested before it was made public. Now compare the world then to the world now, whereby I can tell you can use iPhone 15 to record film. I'm just saying generally, because it's because of the way the world is going and the way the technology is evolving. So he set up the studio in New Jersey, United States of America, in 1893, and then influenced the regulation of the movie industry in the US through the establishment of motion picture. Don't forget, we are talking about motion picture. How can you make your picture to be in motion? No video coverage or no video camera then, but they have to come up with what can we do to set a picture on motion. So remember, I gave us the example. Now let's assume that you want to create a video with a picture, and as a man, you want to put on suits. You want to put on the full suit, full jacket. You just finish taking your bath and you are with your underwear. So the next thing is you look for your trousers, and then you put it on, you take the picture. Let's assume there's someone helping you to take the picture. Okay. Then the next thing is you put on your shirt, any of the colors. Then they take the picture. That means you have the shirts and I'm just giving us a graphical detail or graphical explanation of what it means to come up with motion pictures. So they take the picture of your trousers and your shirts on you, and then you put on your shoes. Okay. So that one also, somebody take the picture. So now you now have the trousers, the shirt, and the shoe with you. So now you now put on the jacket. Oh no, before the jacket, let's say tie. And then the picture is taken. Then also the jackets. Then the picture is taken. Then you have this hat, small hat like this, that you put on it. And then the picture too is taken. Do you know you can convert that to video like to have motion pictures, motion graphics. So now you just get one application, probably all this one of these editing tool, and then you begin to put the pictures together, and after that you just have them happening. It will now look as if there is someone covering a video, as if a live video has been covered. That was the situation then. Okay, it was when men of those days, the pioneers of those days, were not trying to come up with different ideas. That okay, we could have something to this thing and to make sense. Recently, I was contemplating or thinking about how WhatsApp is improving the chat platform, and then I would just be thinking, I was okay. Somebody will just sit down and think, oh, we can add something like this to get this kind of result. And then that one is done through coding anyway. They have to add some commanding effort to the systems. And then they are the ones that know how to communicate all those things with whatever it is that they use. But, they had such, and then they test it. By the time they test, it gives them what they want. But don't forget that if they didn't get the desired result, it will not work. Do we understand now? So Thomas Edison came up with kinetograph and also kinetoscope, and then studio. Don't forget, take note of the years and the places where those things happen. So later on, he came up with what we call the movie industry. Okay, when in USA, that was in 1893, and then that thing influenced the regulation of the creation of the studio, influenced the regulation of the movie industry in the United States through the establishment of motion picture patent company that he helped to form and to standardize film practice and locked out the amateurs. Now, his studios produced about 1,200 shorts and silent films. Okay, shorts and silent films. So, and then you could see some of the examples of those films that were shot then. In 1894, we have Fred Oates or Fred Oates rather. Then in 1896, the Great Train Robbery was made or was shot. And then Alice Adventure in Wonderland, that was done in 1910. Then the Frankenstein in 1910 as well. So Thomas Edison really tried to come up with different kind of ideas. Don't forget that this was the man in charge of bulb. Am I right? Bulb. Who created bulb? Thomas Edison. Is it not Thomas Edison? Yes. He tried it how many times? Students in the class, answer now. Are you guys ghosting the class? Somebody should try. Ayomide. Ayomide Bakari. Okay, let's move on.
Hello, sir. Yes.
So you are not responding to this class. So to the question rather, how many times did Thomas Edison create electric bulb and the thing did not work until the last time? Who is answer the question?
I don't know.
I didn't see that in the manual. I didn't take note of that.
But don't forget that before you have pictures, if you want to have a good picture now, you are in a dark place. You need light. There is a reason why this man came up with light. Don't forget, you need light to lighten it. We have in cameras now, we have flash. So now, like if I'm holding a camera now and I want to take pictures in a dark place without using generator or using electric bulb, I can take the picture in the dark place and I will get the right photograph because I use flash. So Thomas Edison, this was a man that was filled with different kind of thoughts in his brain. And then he will be thinking of what will be done to make a situation better. Do you understand now? So now in this particular material, yeah, fine. We're talking about what he created, but don't forget that he was the one who pioneered or who created Bob as well. And I believe it was done for the purpose of getting pictures at night. Do you understand? You know, before you take photo, you need so you guys are in the movie stuff, and by the time you start doing the practical stuff, you understand what I'm saying. So
But sir, this was in the note though.
What did you say?
The creation of the bulb was not written in the course material.
Do you understand? You didn't understand what I'm saying. I've given you explanation. I said, yes, I said it is not there. But what we are saying here is that he created things that will be used to take pictures. Are you following now? And
yes, sir.
After creating all these things, I just try to branch out to tell you. Do you understand? I branched out that this is the same Thomas Edison who created bulb, electric bulb. Are you following me now? And
yes, sir.
Electric bulb is to bring light. And before you could get the desired picture for emotion graphics or so, you need light. It is not written here. Don't forget that even if you have this material, this is history. You have to go beyond what is written in your material. Do you understand? In order to get the history better. Are you following me now?
Okay, sir.
In the last class, when I was talking about Milbridge, Edward Milbridge of British, I told you the story of how he came beyond what is in the course material. Do you understand?
Okay.
So we talk about Thomas Edison and the things he created so that you can have better understanding of what is being said here. Are you following now?
Okay. There's one confusing thing material. Yeah. They said Thomas Edison was later on in the material, I saw that it was Thomas Edison that created the kinetoscope and kintograph. But somewhere here, they mentioned about his assistant, William K.L. Dixon, which they said Dixon invented a machine called kintograph, and it's sort of opposing because it says
I saw that too.
That Edison made the kintograph and kintoscope, and also Dixon was the one that invented it, and it even came out in one of the TMS too.
You did not read it very well. See, Thomas Edison worked with the peephole projector. The peephole projector called kinetoscope. Okay? He worked with it. After coming up with what we call kintograph, he worked with it. Now, it is like a way of advancing tools, instruments. I don't know if you understand. When you have something created, then you want to advance it. Sometimes you see some of this software we use, one person does not create software. If you open Photoshop now or editing tools, you will see the list of names of people who are engaged in that assignment. For example, dictionary. No, it's not. Dictionary is not done by one person. No. Somebody will do something, another person will add something. So there is addition. There is always someone coming up with it. A person did not make a car. Do you know? Do you know that car was not made by one person? Somebody made the tire. Are you following now? Somebody made screw, and somebody created nails.
Okay.
Yeah. So Thomas Edison helped to advance the creation of kintograph by adding fashion works to the peephole of the projector. Okay? Do you understand now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's move. We have the second person, Edwin Potter. Edwin S. Potter. Edwin Potter was born in 1870 and died 1941. You see now, all these guys, they have to team up. And I'm very sure when Thomas Edison was trying to come up with different kind of idealistic tools, I'm very sure this man will be around him. You know, it is somebody's inspiration that will bring another person's inspiration. Do you know, somebody's idea can also erupt or create your own, can also bring about the creation of your ideas. You know, someone thinks of something, and I think there's another way we could do this thing. So he assisted, or he partnered with Thomas Edison Company, known as Edison Manufacturing Company, in 1896, and was responsible for most of the films produced in the studio, such as The Great Train Robbery. Okay, so you know, when you have a servant, the servant will end up becoming a leader one day if that person knows what he or she is doing. And also the American fireman. So I'm not saying this man is a servant to to Thomas Edison anyway, but he joined Edison to make progress in the cinema industry. Okay, in the film industry, talking about the cinema. So, and also the American fireman, the man was part of those who helped to produce it in 1903. He was a producer and director, and later on, when he left Edison's factory, he became a projectionist and toured South American, West Indies, Canada, the US, showing different movies he produced and directed, using what? His skill as a projectionist, okay? So now, don't forget that Thomas Edison was the projector, created something we call people projector. And then the person that went about helping Thomas Edison to spread this was known as a projectionist, someone who assisted in setting up some of these movies, and then in creating some of the movies to help and to encourage the industry, and even for the advancement of cinema. Okay, so that was for Edwin Potter. Then the other man, George Eastman. George Eastman, 1, 2, 3. That's the third person to be discussed here. He lived between 1854 and 1932. And then he was one of the very innovative pioneers of film in the US. He's very, very creative. He was very creative and innovative. So his contribution was in the area of inventing. His contribution was in the area of inventing the roll film. That is the film stock used in shooting movie picture. I don't know if you are getting what I'm saying. All these things, when they come together, all these people, when they come together, they will come up creating something big. Do you understand? Okay, take a look at fan now. See fan. Somebody invented the blades of the fan. Somebody created a plastic stand that you can see on a standing fan. Somebody created the switch. Do you understand? So when all these people, when they form one thing or the other, they make it to be one. They partner together and then they make it to be one. So two of us, we could come together. Two of us could come together and form something or create something. Do you understand now? Hello.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So now the next person is Louis Le Prince. Louis Le Prince. This man, of course, you could see the name. He lived between 1841 and 1890. He's often referred to as the father of cinematography. You see, but this is only because he was the first person to present a sequence of shots with a single lens camera and paper negatives. He bought from George Eastman's company. You see, this thing is very simple and direct. Okay? Because he made, should I say, extra exploit, creating beyond what others have done, it means the upcoming generation can always do something better. Do you understand now? We are in the generation Z. After letter Z, what is next? Guys, if we are in the generation Z, then what is next after Gen Z generation? What is next? Do you understand my question? Like, people are always creating something to get better. What you see today, you cannot compare the work of iPhone 14 to 15. Can you? No. Hey guys, you see, so there is development always. There are new things coming up. And then when those things are done, then they help us to move further. They advance the situation. So Lily Prince is often referred to as the father of cinematography. But this is only because he was the first person to present a sequence of shots with a single lens camera and paper negatives. So he bought those things, he bought them from George Eastman's company. And definitely this claim was keenly contested by Edison, who lobbied to be seen as the father of cinematography, because he was even the one that did the much work. To start a thing is not easy. And then control the American film industry long before the formation of the Hollywood industry. So Lily Prince was very well known in both UK and the US. Okay, in the UK and the US. Well, the thing is, he did not stay longer on the field of cinematography because, according to the story, he suddenly disappeared. Sometimes around September, that was 16th September 1890, when he left his friends, his family, his acquaintances with different speculations regarding his end. So some were of the opinion that he was murdered, whereas I'm very sure no one knew wherever he went to. But his major contribution after the legal battle with Edison on who is the father of cinematography include the invention of a 16-lens device that served as motion picture camera and a projector. So he really tried with what he created. Do we understand? He really tried. So now, let's talk about this man. Let's talk about this man, Auguste Lumière. I think we've made mention of this man before, and Louis Lumière. Auguste Lumière lived between 1862 and 1954, while Lumière lived between 1864 and 1948. They were brothers from Paris. Yeah, I remember we talked about them. Their father had a company in charge of producing the plates of the photographs or photography. So they assisted their father to bring back the company when the company was at the verge of debt. Okay, when the company was running bankrupt. So they came to rescue the company. And don't forget, according to the story, that their father handed over the company to them. So they are well known for producing motion picture camera called cinematograph, and they use it in shooting and viewing films. Okay, So the first time they screened some of their films privately was on the 22nd of March, 1895. And then they did some other ones subsequently. So if you paying audience, they show their lens than 1 minute real event film. Okay, so they did that sometimes around December 1895. And then they did that in Paris. That's in Grande Café du Capuchin, Paris. Among their films screened publicly on that, where we have different kind of films that they streamed or they screened. So now we have a number of them. They screened Jumping Onto the Blanket. Okay, that one was they screened that one. They screened them for like 41 seconds. They screened Baby's Breakfast. Don't forget that these were the early days of invention. So okay, now let me come with this example. You know, if you started using Instagram, you will know that before Instagram was not made with videos. There was no place for video to be on Instagram. But as the technology develops, what happened? They include video. When they included video, they made it, let's say, 1 minute, if I could remember, or 30 seconds. So you cannot make more than a certain amount of video. You can't even do it directly. You have to upload it. So later on, they have to come up with a situation whereby you can do direct video, like do video, make a kind of coverage, and then like you snap, you could take photo, you could take pictures directly. Now, this was as a result of advancement that happened in the technology in that time. So now, advancement also happened in the process of coming up with cinematograph, photography, the films, and some other equipment that they use in the coverage of those stories, in the coverage of the film. Do you understand me now? So we have more films.
Yes, sir.
Street Riders that they screened. They screened out for like 46 seconds. This encampment of the Congress of Photographers, the Gardener or the Sprinkler Sprinkled. They also screened Workers Leaving the Lumiere Factory. They screened Blacksmiths for 49 seconds. I think out of, I think they screened the most, they screened the most for the most seconds for 49 seconds in some of their tasks, in some of the things that they were able to do then. So the Lumiere brothers make known the cinema by taking it outside the Paris in 1896. They took it to Belgium, and from there to other parts of the Europe, like London, Russia, and Africa. So, but they did not last long in the film business beyond being part of the pioneering group. So this is because they refused to sell their model of camera to the other filmmakers interested in buying it for filmmaking purposes. You see, these guys, they were very wise. Okay, so they enjoyed the time for a long time, I'm very sure, before they could extend it to others. So they wanted to restrict the use of their camera to themselves alone. That made others to despise them. Okay, they made people to abandon them. That why would you be so selfish that you would not want? And of course, people at that time, they were looking for advancement. Don't forget, people, even in the present day war, they still look for advancement. Okay, things are still happening. New technologies are emerging. They are creating diverse kinds of things to ensure that the world is not standing on a position. So things are moving. Who knows if you could have something like, okay, remember, there is something created now. This, what is it called? There's one equipment now that can make people to fly. Though they will fly at a very, it has a particular, let me say, is it a coverage, a particular length or meter it could go, a coverage, it has a particular coverage that it could have a number of coverage that it could have. So it may not go further, but they created it, and then it is making people to fly. Have you seen such before on the TV?
No,
Oh, you've not seen?
no, I
Oh,
haven't.
I saw one on Instagram. I saw one Instagram video. All these ones, they are not film fake. They created it. Even on sport, there was a time I saw one on Sky Sport. Well, you may not go maybe 5 meters or maybe 20 meters, 30 meters away from where the person is going to fly from. So there is something they have to put in their body. I don't know how that thing lifts them. I don't know how heavy that thing could be that it will lift them, and then they find themselves somewhere. So that is it. All what I'm just trying to do is to tell you that the technology, the tools that they use to create all these things, they are emerging, and then they are improving daily. All right. So we have the next. The next person is George Miles. Okay, George or George Mellis rather. George Mellis lived between 1861 and 1938. George Mellis came into filmmaking from the background of the theater, where he practiced magic on stage. His father was known to be a cobbler, a shoemaker, who wanted George Mellis to learn English, and because of this, sent him to England, where he learned the language. And while he was there, he developed the interest of learning the art of stage magic. So, and when he came back to Paris, he was among the people who presented what is this? He was among those people who came up with cinematography camera, okay? Who came up with the public presentation of the cinematography camera on the 28th December 1895. So he actually wanted to purchase one from the people for his the theater business, but they didn't answer. Okay, so they didn't answer. So this made him get back to London, where he brought up another kind of camera model called animatograph, and was the knowledge, and with his knowledge rather, as a technical theater. So he tried, and then came up successful with the introduction of those things I've mentioned, like he presented, and then he made. Okay, so George Mellis came into filmmaking from the background of theater, where he practiced magic on stage. Please, Can this class is going to end 4, okay? I want to go offline now. I will come back in the next 5 minutes, so please don't leave the class. Do we understand, please?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
We are
So,
about to have another class.
I have
By
a question. You said what? You have another class?
By 3, yes.
Exactly, yes. Yes.
You would be we have to do this because we've been having issue with recording and then recording on the using the cloud. So probably you will visit the class. Is it all of you or there are some people? We have about 400 plus studying this course and only 2 of you.
It's a GST class. It's a GST class.
The other one is a GST class. Wait, 400 plus, offering which course? This course?
Yeah. All right, so can we have let's have the class on Monday. Let's please another because we need to do some cover up. Do we understand?
Or can we just have it after 4, like by 4? Can we come back by 4?
Let's have it on Monday.
Okay, let's have it.
All right, I'll communicate with you. So please tell people to come to the class, invite them, and let's learn together.
Okay, sir.
All right,
Okay,
thank you
sir.
very much. Thank you for coming.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.